everybody, I'm ED and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm so excited to be reacting to one of my favorite YouTubers' videos. I know I might be a little bit biased, but her content and her stuff is amazing, and I really wanted this to be a fun and positive and inspirational kind of reaction video because, you know, we live in a little bit of a crazy world right now. I want to react to Liane V. You guys have probably heard of her. She's amazing. And I'm actually wearing one of her merch items. It's her shirt that says I Go Beast. Check it out. And so I'm going to be reacting to her video that is titled What Self-Love Means to Me. And you guys, I'm already so excited to be talking about self-love. Okay. So this is What Self-Love Means to Me from the Miss Liane V.
What's up everyone, it's Liane V and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Tea with Liane V. And today this is coffee that I'm drinking, and it's caramel coffee in this beautiful Milan cup. This is when I went to Milan and I had the best time. It was my first time going there for Milan Fashion Week. I was walking my very first catwalk for Philip Klein. He's a German designer.
Okay, you guys, just for the purposes of time, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit to where she starts talking because it's a pretty lengthy video. It's not because I don't love her, I absolutely do, but we're just going to skip ahead.
I didn't get to stay long enough. People in the background weren't really like, oh, you of this, because I keep getting questions on what is self-love, like what does it really mean to love yourself. A lot of people get it mixed up like, oh, you love yourself, well you're conceited or you're selfish, you love only yourself. Like, it's not about that. It's not about, oh, I love myself and only me. I think it's very important when you're thinking about your happiness, you have to prioritize yourself, because sometimes, again, for myself, what I've learned that I always did was always think about other people, and then I start forgetting about what I need, what Liane needs for herself, what she needs to do to help herself in life. So that's one thing though that you have to understand. It's not about being selfish. And so what? Even if you're selfish for yourself, because how are you going to help other people when you don't help yourself? Like, how can you pour into someone's cup when you're empty? So number one, you have to love yourself, which means taking care of yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. So it's so important to understand that you have to love yourself first.
You guys, she just brought up the best point, which is, I know a lot of people out there have this, and I used to as well, and I think even a little bit I might still have this. The need to be needed and people pleasing. Oh my god, you guys, I cannot tell you, like, if people released their obligation to be needed and their obligation to please everybody else before themselves, like, we would live in such a different world and people would actually, like, know what it feels like to really love themselves. So I love how she brought that up. And yeah, that is so important, because how are you supposed to be there for someone and take care of someone and encourage and uplift someone if you yourself are not taking care of yourself?
So from what I've learned, what self-love means, self-love stems from knowing that you are already whole. And in my previous videos, I've talked about wholeness. And again, wholeness is the highest and healthiest version of a person. I truly believe that every blessing, every opportunity comes from God. And God gives us unconditional love with every breath we take. And somewhere down the line in life, we get distracted, and certain things that happen to us and experience, we lose that connection. And we just have to remember that we receive unconditional love from God, and that we don't need to seek others to fill that in our hearts. Because once you start lacking God, I feel like people start to want to get other energy and love from other people, which of course we're supposed to love each other and love one another, but you can't walk around in life feeling like you are not enough. And I think that's what happens when you think about self-love. Like, I love myself, I am enough, I am whole, and that helps you have a healthier mindset and you feel secure and confident. And just knowing that when you know God created you for a purpose, and knowing that He gives you and pours unconditional love to you, you're gonna walk so different, you're gonna think so different, and I feel that that energy that you're projecting is just gonna give you more opportunities in life. And I think that's what blocks a lot of blessings, is our minds. Again, it all starts in our mind. Everything starts in our mind. What we think can actually manifest. So when you're walking around insecure, you're actually blocking your own blessings. I feel like God wants to bless us and give us everything our heart desires, but we block our own blessings by making certain decisions that aren't opening and aligning us to God for what He wants to give us. And have you ever noticed, if not you, someone else, when they cut a person out of their life that's not supposed to be in their life, like someone toxic and bad, like blessings start to pour in. And you're like, oh my God, this opportunity here, this here, that there. And it's all because you cut that person off. And sometimes that person is not supposed to be attached to you when you receive these blessings, because they're not meant to go on the next level that you're going to. I've seen it happen so many times, and especially with me, when I used to hang on to unhealthy relationships, unhealthy friendships, and I noticed certain things in my life aren't going with the natural flow that I want it to. And of course, nothing is going to pan out the way you want it to all the time. But if you notice, like, sometimes there's certain people that you need to let go. And it's not about quitting, because some people say, oh, you're gonna quit on me, whether it be a friendship or a relationship. You just have to know when enough is enough, and when this person is no longer serving your happiness. Like, there's no point that you need to be in my life. And I've definitely learned that along the way, living in LA, meeting so many different people. And I love people. Like, I love surrounding myself with different...
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. This is why I love her, you guys. Okay, so let me see if I remember most of what she said. What she said about you are already whole. That is so true, you guys. We were already born whole, and whether or not you believe in God, whether or not you want to call it God, or whether you want to call it intuition, or your higher self, or your subconscious mind, or the environment, or earth, whether you're a Buddhist, or you're Christian, or you're Muslim, whatever your religious, philosophical, spiritual, whatever beliefs you have, it is true that we are all born of the same love, and we were all born whole. So, you know, as we go throughout life, and, you know, we become adults, and we get into relationships, and, you know, we get ourselves hurt, and we feel emotions, and we might, you know, experience pain. We start to, you know, fragment a little bit, and that wholeness inside of us, you know, kind of gets lost. And that's when we, instead of seeking, you know, that love that we all share, that infinite love that we all have inside of us, we seek it from a relationship, or someone who's toxic, or we seek it from a job, or we seek it in a way that's just not healthy for us. And I think it's so important that she brings that up, because we were already made whole, and it's, you know, society, and it's our beliefs, and it's all our mind of what we believe that we are, that makes us feel like we're not whole. So, and that's not to say, you know, if you're in a relationship, or if you want to be in a relationship, that's not to say that you shouldn't, and that's not to say that relationships are bad and you should just avoid that altogether, because that's just an easy thing to say, like, yeah, all you need is yourself, and that's true to an extent. But her point is that when you start to feel a lack inside of you, when you start to feel that, like, you want to seek validation and love from other people, all you gotta do is give it to yourself. Because what I've learned, you guys, is anytime I've ever felt lonely, or felt a lack within me, or felt like I needed to seek a relationship, what was really going on inside of me was I needed to give that to myself. Like, the love I was seeking from, you know, let's say a relationship, it was actually love that I needed to give to myself. And yes, you can fulfill yourself with that love, because again, we are all created from love, and from a beautiful, pure, unconditionally loving force, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's so cool that she brought that up.
Friends and making new friends, but again, you have to protect your energy. You have to understand who you are. You can't be influenced to do something that you're not happy or comfortable with. And I've seen it happen all the time. People move to LA, they're super humble, super sweet, and then all of a sudden they go to the wrong crowd, they get influenced, and they just become this whole different person. And that's the scariest thing. When you lose yourself, you don't even know who you are anymore. And especially around the people that love you or know you, they're like, yo, you're a whole different person. And some people change for the better, you know. So I'm not saying that it's always going to be bad. It's just that you have to protect your energy and really pay attention to the people that you hang out with, if that's the people that you want to become. Because again, you are a reflection of who you hang out with, and so you want to make sure you protect that energy. You don't need any anyone to validate who you are. It's crazy because when I moved to LA, there were agencies that I wanted to work with. There were producers and writers and photographers, and I started becoming my own business by taking my own pictures, learning how to edit. I couldn't afford paying all these people to do that. So I learned how to edit, I learned how to take pictures, I learned how to use Final Cut Pro, Premiere, all these different programs. Like, I had to learn to figure this out, and then I collaborated with friends, and I'm telling you, friendship definitely helped me in the industry. It's all about connections, it's all about who you know, and of course, you don't want to lose yourself at the same time, but you have to make connections. You have to network, you have to get to know people. But this is the number one thing that I tell everyone from what I've learned. And don't ever feel like you have to sell yourself or settle for less, because, for instance, oh my god, I have to go to this party because so-and-so is going to be there and it's going to be my shot to be able to get into this movie or get into this, acting gig. It's going to be crazy. I have to go there. You have to remember, at the end of the day, as long as you're connected with God, that's the number one connection you have to worry about, because God's going to open up doors that you never expected and create conversations about you with other people that they're going to end up talking about you in some kind of way. And it's happened multiple times for me where I haven't even met these people, but they want to work with me because of word of mouth. And that leads and connects to how you treat people, how you respect people. When you move to LA or any other city that you want to grow in the business with, I feel that you have to be respectful. You have to be kind, because people will never forget how you make them feel. And when it comes to the business, people talk. And so I know I'm totally like straying away from self-love, but how you treat people is a reflection of how you treat yourself as well. Because if you're good to yourself, you're going to be good to people. If you're rude and hurtful to people, you're going to end up hurting yourself. And hurt people hurt people. So again, walk with love, be kind, be respectful. People are going to talk about you, whether if it's good or bad, but if you know that you're doing right and you're treating people with kindness, you can't go wrong. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be so many people that may say things and you can't care what people think. I understand that. But all you have control of is what you do for yourself. But again, back to self-love.
Amazing, you guys. Okay, she is so right, because again, if you don't want to use the word God, if you want to call it something else, so be it. But at the end of the day, when you're connected to, that most pure, the most loving, the most unconditionally just beautiful, bright light inside of you, when you're connected to that piece of you that just knows the answer and knows what's for your highest and best good and sees all the possibilities that we can't see with our human ego, that we can't see within, the strict confines of our mind. When you're connected to that piece of you that is love, like, everything else falls into place. And she's so true. Like, a lot of the times in life, we feel like we are not in rhythm. We're, based on who we're hanging out with, the activities that we're doing, how we spend our day, how we spend our thoughts, how we focus our mental energy. If we are not living our lives, aligned with love and aligned with truth and aligned with what really makes us happy, things are just going to be out of whack. Blessings that should have come are not going to come. And that is when we start to feel like we need to seek love and attention from other people. And that never, ever, ever works out. Ever, ever, ever. It doesn't matter how often or how many times you try. If you are seeking love and attention from someone else because you do not feel it inside of you, it's just never going to work.
Straight away. That's a whole different conversation I actually want to get into with you guys, of just like pursuing the industry and understanding how you connect with people and how you build your team and all that. So we'll get into that later, but back to self-love after I take this sip of coffee. Okay, where was I? So back to self-love, of making sure you don't lose that connection, of knowing that everything comes from God and God gives you unconditional love. So you are already whole, you are already created whole, and you don't need anyone. So when people lose that connection later down the line, they end up feeling empty, they feel needy, they get insecure, and they just don't have that solid confidence that they used to walk with. And I mean, sometimes it's the household that you were raised in, if you weren't loved right, if they didn't love you right, or whatever it may be. You know, sometimes I've definitely talked to my friends that have experienced, you know, parents with divorce or losing, you know, a dad or a mom. I know that it stems from the past, but I feel that it's never too late to love yourself. It's never too late to start over with anything, because as long as you're breathing and you're alive, you have a purpose and God has something very special for you. And you have to know that. You have to believe that and take that in and know that you are created whole. When people lose that connection, they begin to get into a state of desperation and neediness, and then they end up wanting validation from other people. This yearning for fulfillment turns into a need for validation and approval. And it gets really scary when you're in that mindset, because again, you become desperate and you just want anything and everything. And that's when you end up allowing all this different energy that's not even supposed to be in your life. People that are just toxic or people that want to use you. And it's all just because you're empty. And that's not a good reason to ever get in a relationship too. With that mindset, it's a very scary place to be, because you don't ever want to be desperate, because you make bad decisions. You end up doing things for the wrong reasons. Just like some people get married for the wrong reasons. Why? For money, because we have kids, because it will save money, and it's just, they end up getting a divorce. And I've seen so many people go through that. My sisters have gone through that, and I've just learned so much watching people go through their mistakes. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I go through my mistakes.
Oh, you guys, so basically what I'm getting from this, and I can totally relate, and I know a lot of my friends can relate, you know, it's so important to think about who is around you, who your circle is, and how you feel. If you find yourself just so happy and supported by the universe, and you feel so connected and so in rhythm, take notice of the people around you. Take notice of the people that are supporting you and loving you and complimenting your life, as opposed to taking from your life. And also take notice of who you're around when you're feeling down and when you're feeling low and when you're feeling needy. Do you tend to reach out to a certain person when you're feeling lonely? Does a certain person reach out to you or come into your life when you're feeling a certain type of way? That is all because of the stuff that you're allowing into your life and the way that you are allowing yourself to be treated.
Approval or acceptance, love yourself instead. Give yourself the attention you need. Go within and dive deeper until you realize that everything you've always been looking for was only to get closer to your own self. You need you more than you need anyone else. So again, you guys, everything starts with you. Everything starts in your mind and in your heart, and understanding that you are whole because of God's unconditional love for you. Again, it's not being selfish. It's not just putting you first and forget everybody else. You have to be healthy. How are you going to help others if you can't help yourself? Again, your mind, spirit, body, soul, you have to take care of yourself. And I actually wrote down a list of things on how to take care of yourself, because some people are like, well, how do I love myself? Where do I start? Like I'm about to tell you guys. So I actually wrote down a list of self-love tips that I use for me that hopefully you guys would want to use as well. So number one, fitness and just working out. I think working out relieves stress, it prevents injuries, you just are happier. Like, I've never thought of a workout that I regret. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I worked out so hard today. I'm so mad at myself. No, it feels so good to work out. You feel great. Then you don't feel so bad eating a cheeseburger or a burrito, whatever you want. Like, I honestly work out because I love to eat too. If that's not your motivation, it's mine. I love working out because I love to eat. I love food. So I just don't feel as guilty when I eat. But that's another thing, fitness, working out is so important, so I definitely would give that tip. Even if you dedicate 15-20 minutes a day to doing something active, it makes such a big difference, and I promise you, you will not regret it. And I noticed a lot of people make excuses saying, I don't have time to work out, I'm so tired. Let me just tell you, when you want to do something, you're going to make time for it, and that's with everyone. I'm going to use my sister as an example. She works a full-time job and has a daughter. She'll wake up at like 3-4 a.m., work out for about an hour, then take her to school, then go to work and work all day, then she gets off of work, she makes dinner, she helps her daughter with homework, and then she puts her to bed, and then she's, going to bed early, doing whatever else she needs to do, and then she does the same thing. So if you truly, truly want to do something in life, you're going to make time for it. So all these excuses, cut it. Cut it, because you can do it. I believe it. Even if it's for 10 10 minutes. Like, do some jumping jacks in the shower. I don't know. Wait, don't do that. You don't want to slip. Okay, moving on.
Oh, that's a little dangerous. I don't know if I try that. But I get her point, you guys, and I hope you do too. So I forget exactly where I heard this from, but I heard this saying one time. And it basically is something like, instead of saying, I don't have time to do this, switch that with, this is not a priority for me. So let's say hypothetically, because you have a full-time job and you think that you are just oh so busy and you're like the most busy person on the planet because you work a 40-hour-a-week job and you just think, oh, you don't have time to work out. Instead of saying, oh, I don't have time to work out, switch that with, oh, you know what, working out is not a priority for me. Or, you know what, I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to do self-grooming. I don't have time to do self-care. Switch that with, taking care of myself just is a priority to me. And you guys hear like the difference of saying that's not a priority for me? That should really be an indication that, you know what, everybody has all the time in the world to do everything that they want. And I can already hear you guys like, no, I can't, you don't know, blah, blah, like all the stupid stuff we tell ourselves in our head. No, if you want to do something, you will make the time and you will make it a priority and you will cut back on the other stuff that you don't need. I had so many friends in college that, oh, I just used to hear this all the time when they would say, you know what, I just don't have time for this and I don't have time for that. Oh, and especially, oh, I don't have enough money for that. They wouldn't have enough money to buy, you know, healthy groceries and organic groceries at the store. Meanwhile, they were spending like $60, $70, $80 a couple times a week on drinks downtown. So maybe your priorities are off. Just maybe think about your priorities.
And this is another tip. So you know that saying, your body is a temple? Well, it is. Your body is a temple. You have to start treating it like a temple. So whatever you put in your body, practice eating healthier. I know it's hard. I believe in cheat meals. I believe in balance in life. Like if I'm going to have a salad, I can have a taco. Like I feel like it's okay to have a balance. But at the same time, like think about it. Really, really feed yourself healthier foods, more vegetables, more vitamins, just so you can take care of yourself. Because this is like our only body, right? We have one body for our entire life. Like, imagine if you have a car. Think of it like that. You have one car for the rest of your life. Wouldn't you want to take care of it? Because you don't want it to break down. You're not going to be able to go run your errands or do anything. So make sure you take care of yourself, take care of your body, because you want to make sure it's up and running and being able to do the things you want it to do. So yeah, feed yourself healthy foods. Again, have dessert, whatever, here and there. But really take care of yourself. Your body is a temple. Another tip for self-care is stimulating your mind. So for me, I read books, and I've actually had more time to read, which is really nice, and I'm honestly learning so much just by reading books. So I think it's great to stimulate your mind by reading books or writing or poetry or painting. So do something that's going to stimulate your mind. And the last tip of the day is practice gratitude. And the reason why it's so important to practice gratitude is you have to be grateful. You have to be thankful for what you have, because when you're focused on the things that you have and the things that you're grateful for, you're not focusing on the negative things that you don't have. So you want to focus on the good, focus on the blessings, focus on the things that you have on your plate that God has given you, and you're going to be blessed even more, I promise. So with a grateful heart, you're going to put out that energy, and it's going to be multiplied, and you're going to be so much happier, I promise. And do this at the end of the day. Right before you go to sleep, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Whether it be your job, or your family, or a roof over your head, or the nice bed that you have. Think of 3 things that you are grateful for and do it every night. You're going to be so much happier. I believe just having a grateful heart gives you peace and happiness.
So true, you guys. Oh, this is why I love her. This is why I love Liane V. Because she's just like, she gets it. She totally gets it. I know it's like really hard sometimes to wake up and go to bed with gratitude, and that's easier said than done. But if you really think about it, like if you can create bad habits with that same energy, you can create good ones, you know? So instead of, you know, waking up and being all like grumpy and checking your Instagram and checking your email and checking your text and immediately getting on your phone. Instead, set a timer and just set, 2 minutes to just do some breathing, some deep inhale, exhales, and just think about all the things in your life that you're grateful for. And you would be surprised, you guys, like the more you train your brain and your mind, the easier it is. Again, if you can train your brain and your mind to think negative, horrible, like really just not grateful things, with that same energy, you could train your mind to think amazing and beautiful and grateful and loving things. So that's my little tip for you guys. Every morning, set a timer for 2 minutes, deep breathe, do some like inhale, exhales, and just think of all the things that make you happy. And it could be something as simple as, oh my God, like I saw a dog today and it was really cute. Or, oh my God, like I saw, this leaf on the ground and it was like really pretty and it had pretty colors. Whatever, it could be simple, it could be big. But if you want to build, happiness within you, that's the thing, like happiness is not like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be happy like all the freaking time. Like you have to train your brain and your mind and that muscle memory to think happy stuff. Those are the tips that I feel that is very important for self-love. I hope you guys enjoyed it and really apply it to your life. Now is the time to practice self-love. Too many people are not loving themselves enough, are not thinking about themselves enough, that are just thinking negative. Let's turn it all around, flip this whole thing, and think about yourself for once. And it's not being selfish. It's about putting yourself first to make yourself better so that we can help others. And I think this is a great tip for us right now, especially for what we're going through. Everyone needs that love. Everyone needs to know their worth and their wholeness. And I think that people can grow from this just by thinking and doing these things for their life. So I'm leaving you with this note. Everything changes when you begin to love yourself. You no longer send out energy of desperation or need to be filled from the outside. You become a powerful source within yourself that attracts better. The more you love who you are, the less you seek validation and approval from others. So again, you guys, love yourself, and once you do, you're going to see such a difference in your life, and you're not going to seek that and be desperate for something else. And that also reflects on relationships. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship for the wrong reasons. You want to be whole, and again, the person that comes into your life is just so fascinated by how whole and real you are. They're like, oh my God, this person's amazing, and it's going to motivate them. I hope it motivates them to be whole too. Because if they're not, then you don't need to be talking to them like that. Really, you don't need to be getting involved with someone that's not on the same mindset and level as you. Because in my place, like, I'm thinking this person that I'm going to be with has to be on my level or higher, honestly higher, because I want to be lifted and pulled up. And, I think it's so important to make sure you don't settle for less. Again, that goes off to settling for less. Make sure that you know your worth and you won't make those same mistakes. So that's it for the day. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you love yourself too. And next time, I'm definitely going to see what I want to talk about next. I know I end up blabbering and like going off. Okay, I'm going to stop her there. That was amazing, you guys. I hope you felt her inspiring words like I do. And what she's saying, I know like it can be sometimes annoying to hear this kind of stuff when you're so used to like, being your normal, grumpy, not happy self. And I know it's easier said that than done, but seriously, you guys, like, think about it. With the same energy that we use to create toxic relationships and negative thinking and like unhealthy eating habits and laziness and watching Netflix for 2 hours instead of doing a meditation, like with that same energy, like we could be creating such better, more fulfilling, more loving lives and experiences. And it starts right now. Like everything that you guys are like upset about, anything that is still an issue in your life, whether you haven't forgiven someone yet, whether you're not like, the right weight that you want to be, or you want to change your body and your overall health and happiness, whether you want to, cut someone toxic out of your life, whether you want to change a relationship for the better, like whatever it is, you guys, that is lingering over you and you feel like you have like the weight of the world on you, you can change it now. Like right this second. Now. Now, 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 now. So, I hope Liane V inspired you like she inspires me. And I think especially, you know, like with the quarantine and with the political climate and like everything going on, and oh my god, you guys, it's 11:11. Like, I kid you not, it's 11:11. Oh my god, this happened in my last video. Can you guys see that? It's 11:11. Whoa. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, yeah, like especially with like the pandemic and the quarantine and like the political climate and the news, like there's so many reasons to be scared and to have fear and to be angry and to be upset. So I challenge you guys to just change your thoughts a little bit. Do something different. Instead of grabbing that remote to watch the news and knowing that you're just going to get angry and feel angry after, instead, maybe you do a meditation. Maybe you write a letter to someone you love and apologize for something that you need to say you're sorry for. Maybe go for a walk. Do something better than what, you know, our habits have created for us. And of course, self-love, you guys. Self-love is so important, especially at a time like this, because, you know, really what self-love is, it's not that people don't know how to love themselves. It's not that people don't want to feel love. It's that people sometimes forget how to feel love inside of them. And all it is sitting with yourself for a couple peaceful moments and just really acknowledging and appreciating and feeling who you are, and just knowing that you are everything that you need in this moment. It doesn't matter if you are going through the most horrible, depressing breakup of your entire life. It doesn't matter if you are paycheck to paycheck, can barely afford to pay your rent. It doesn't matter if you are sad. It doesn't matter about any of that. At the end of the day, like, all you need in this moment is yourself. And of course that is like, it might be, you know, so easy to just hear that, but it takes time to get there. But if I like say anything at all that I just want to get out there, all you need in this exact moment is you and only you, and anything you want to change in your life and manifest, you can with you, with your thoughts, with your mind, with how you think. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.